Black economic empowerment is one of those things in South Africa that you either think is great or you think it's appalling. Well, somebody who's in the latter camp is Gerhard Papenfus. He's the chief executive of NIASA, and he wrote one of the most strongly worded attacks on BEE that I can remember. He sent the letter. It's an open letter. We published it on Biz News this week to Gwede Mantashe. We'll find out why Gerhard wrote it and why he's so angry about BEE and its impact on the country. Gerhard, good to be talking with you. Maybe let's start off with that first point. Why Gwede Mantashe? Why not Cyril Ramaphosa or any other member of the cabinet?
You must, well, at least I think you have to write an open letter always within a context of a particular event. You can do it anytime, but in this case, Gwede Mantashe made certain remarks during a television interview where he said that whites hate BE because of the fact that we want to protect our white supremacy. And then he made certain statements that didn't really make sense, and I felt that. And the fact that he said, we don't want to see blacks prosper and take up positions of ownership. And so I had to respond to that and just point out to him that he's simply wrong. Also that it's not a question of white anger also. And it is, I think everybody, except those that really benefit, and if you can call it benefit from the scheme, doesn't like it at all. I mean, we detest it. And it's costing the country so much that so I just putting it right with Gwede.
You say you detest it. You don't hate it. I think for some people observing this, that'll seem like semantics. What do you mean by it, though?
Well, hate is I just say that, the word hate is there's a bad connotation to the word hate, but it is a terrible thing that what it's doing to the country cannot have any amount of approval from our side or from anybody. So he used the word hate, and I just I don't want to use the word. I don't want to be filled with any form of hate. So I don't walk around daily. Hate is something that fills your mind, your being, and I don't want to be filled with hate in any way. So, but I think you're right if you say there's an amount of semantics to this. But I mean, we see the impact it's having on the economy and on people, and so I just wanted to let him know he's wrong. And first of all, why we detest this thing, and what is going wrong. We see it. We live that daily. We see businesses struggling because of this, because this is no longer a normal economy. No, we don't live in a normal economy. We live in an economy where a economic structure is created, an unnatural economic structure where certain people get preference not on the basis of merit, but purely based on political alliance and color.
But Gerhard, you also use very, very strong language. And I'm wondering here whether you're going to actually get through, because often when one sits in a room, two people, we do tend to be able to find each other through not attacking each other. But your letter, whoa, you use some big numbers. You call it inherent fraud. What do you mean by that? And where I'm going with this is everybody then who complies with BE, are they committing fraud? Are they part of the whole criminality in your view?
Well, if let's see where the money goes to. what it's doing to the for instance, state-owned enterprises that's being kept in existence. I mean, the whole system is based on coercion. That's first of all. If you want to partake in the in the broad economy, this system is built in such a way that it trickles down to the lowest level. If you want to compete or even participate in the economy, you have to participate in this model. Now, and the fact is, I don't know a business, and my world is not corporates. SMME is our world, and what is an SMME? An SMME is a business where you can stop in front of the building and ask to talk to the owner. That's a family business, strong businesses, the backbone of the economy. I haven't seen or heard about anybody that says there's merit in the system. They are forced into the system. That's coercion. And I'm not saying that those people do not participate, but that is one element of this thing. They do not participate. That is just to have access to the economy, but it excludes a huge number of businesses that can offer better quality products at better prices. So this is an elitist system that allow only for certain people to participate, and that costs the country a lot. If you drink a bottle of water on an SAA flight, you must understand that this bottle of water could have been purchased for R5. And but the moment it stands at your seat and you drink out of that bottle stands there for a huge price. And that is the difference between what it really costs and what you get it for, that bankrupts an airline. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested as well in the psychology that you use here by saying that the beneficiaries feel almost empty, that they haven't really achieved anything. And just explore that a little bit more. Give us some more insight on that. Are you of the opinion that the people who benefit from BEE are saying, "Well, I didn't really earn this. I got it because I was advantaged, and I know the right people," and as a result, that casts a pall on any business success in South Africa? Is that where you're driving with that argument?
Well, I'm saying that if to be a successful entrepreneur, that brings some satisfaction, huge amount of satisfaction. Creating something out of nothing, building something from the ground, determining a need in a particular environment, and then on that basis start building a business from the ground. Now, that makes entrepreneurs a special kind of people. And everybody, you don't grow from entrepreneur to businessman. You always, if you're an entrepreneur, you build something from nothing. What you've done with business, you build something from nothing. That brings an amount of satisfaction, and that quality always remain in a person. That always remains there. If you get somebody that joins you at the top and enjoy the benefits of what you've created, you can never enjoy the fruit of your labor in the same manner. So I think that leaves you empty. And the example you set to your family, even your children, they know you haven't created this. There's something that goes missing, and the people that now benefit through that will pay a price for that. I mean, the wealth that's, and I don't use the word wealth because wealth is something with more substance. The riches that comes from it is just the fruit of somebody else's labor, just come in at the top. And you must understand that the businesses that is forced to do this just to open the door for business contracts, I mean, there's huge profits to be made in this thing. But it just goes against people to say, how can I do that? And I know that people that is allowed it. I've seen businesses strong SMMEs that brought in partnerships, which they've given for free. But now they want to get out of it, and that costing them millions in court cases to say I can no longer tolerate this drag on my business. I haven't seen a single SMME that says, this was a good thing. I wanted to do it. I looked for a partner. I found it. Now, I don't say, when people buy into your business and they buy into a business, there's something when people do buy into businesses, then immediately it's a different thing. Then you have an interest and you want to make it mate and you have an interest. But there are people that only money they make is directorships in businesses. Now, you don't have an interest for that business to survive. If you fail here, then you continue to something else. And what it is left, I leave a business with, to have people sitting at your boardroom and they not really have their heart into that business and really want to make it work. Well, the fact is, if you get something for free, you simply do not have the same interest, the same drive to make it successful, and the impact it's having on boardrooms in leadership is extremely detrimental to businesses. And that's why people go into this type of thing and then go out. They say, we just can't do this. As I said, I haven't heard a success story be a success story.
This is where the unthinkable happened. They just came here and took his car.
No. I sold it to them. What's this?
It's crime scene tape. Did they pay you at least?
Within 15 minutes, money was in my account.
Were you happy with the number they brought you?
I got almost the same price as what I paid for the car. Everything was easy, everything was painless.
Well, there you have it, South Africa. With WeBuyCars, you won't come short. I'll tell you really.
1.93.
WeBuyCars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
It's certainly coming from the heart, and there's deep passion here. But on the other side, there's also a view that the arguments that are being forwarded by people like, or organizations like NIASA, are just to try and shore up the privileges that were enjoyed in the past system. How do you respond to that kind of so let's just say Gwede wrote a response to you. First of all, he probably doesn't want to read what you wrote because it's against his worldview. But let's just say that he did, and he wrote to you and he said, "No, I can see this. You're just wanting to shore up the white privilege." What's your response to that? How are you going to help with the transformation in South Africa, where you do have a high percentage of economic activity that is still controlled by whites, and unless there's something, will continue to be?
First of all, 90% of people are excluded from this thing. And if I say 90%, it's probably more, of people that previously were prejudiced by apartheid, is still prejudiced, and even more. So if it helped somebody, it didn't help by far the majority of the population. We are in a terrible situation that is bringing the country down as it is. So, if you want to correct something, if you want to correct the past, this is not the way to do it. I say we need to correct the past, but dishing out ownership, no. Directorships to people, it's not. You're never an owner, because an owner is something else. If you dish that out, you're not solving a problem, you're creating an even bigger problem. Apartheid had certain results, and of course, it was a mistake. But how do you correct it? What we say, this is not the way to do it, because making people rich, and what we didn't empower people. We made them rich. We made some of them rich, but we didn't empower them. We didn't empower them. We didn't empower their families, because this is not sustainable. And money made in this way will most probably get lost. You can see a entrepreneur almost in the car he's driving. I mean, this is what we see. The money flows. It is easy money. Their children see that. And that will eventually, in the generations that follow, these people will look back and say, you know, my granddad benefited from it. I'm definitely not benefiting from it. And money that comes in this way isn't blessed. This is just the law of business. It's easy money, and it will go. It will leave you at some point. And so, you know, how do you sort it out? There must be a better model. But if you want to, the businesses I'm talking about, you know, this comes through hard work. There's no doubt about it. And I believe, you know, there were people in the apartheid system that got farms and things and all kinds of things. I know that. But to repeat that as a model to just create a form of riches is not a sustainable model. Now, people that enjoy the benefits will say, no, it's now sustainable. I say, no, well, the effect of something, the real effect, it will come in generations. Your children will determine whether this model was a successful model. Because when the money dries up, you will not know how to create it, and the money will dry up. The money that's pumped in, the billions and billions that's being pumped into this system to make it work, because it can't carry itself. So at some point, the money will dry up, and what will you do then? How will you create money when you've all your life got money from a system that kept you alive? So you might enjoy the riches, the bling for now, but at some point it's going to bite you. And I think there's an inherent realization of that and fear for that day. That's why people take as much as they can now to protect themselves against that day, because the wealth that's being created is just not normal. It is not just not normal. The figures that you see, where does that money come from? How does it happen? These people have the inside lane to everything. If you look at mining, how much rich people are created through mining, and in record quick time. Well, that is not normal. You learn absolutely nothing. There's no, you're not taught an ability to create wealth. And in fact, you don't understand what it means and how money is made. And if the argument is, well, I want to protect wealth, white wealth, no, that's simply wrong. I think there's nothing more that we want is to see people coming out. And in fact, we see the township economy that's running in the billions. I'm talking about hundreds of billions even. And there we see entrepreneurs doing their thing. That's wonderful. My greatest desire, what I would love to do for white business, is to say, how can you participate in that rising economy? Because there you find real entrepreneurship. But they don't enjoy this wealth, but they enjoy a much higher quality of living, because every cent you make create a sense of satisfaction. I've done something today. I've contributed to the advancement of a particular society. I filled a need. I've looked after some other people's children while they were doing their business. Whatever it is, that's real wealth. But it's not spectacular. People look after their money. The fact that you see how people spend their money now, you realize they don't understand where it's coming from. It's easy money, and it's not sustainable.
Isn't that the nub of this whole argument? Is perhaps the definition of an entrepreneur? The way that if you had been trained in Moscow and in the Soviet Union, and you'd been told that capital is bad and labor is good, and you've got that in your head. You say that National Democratic Revolution, which was drafted in 1920, is still something really good, that actually you're coming with a mindset like the man you wrote the open letter to, which is so far removed from your mindset. So what is an entrepreneur from your perspective, and what is a parasite? You use that word. in your open letter, that those who are benefiting from BEE are actually parasites. Just explain the distinction between them.
Well, a true entrepreneur, first of all, establish that there's a need. And that's something that, I mean, that's why entrepreneurs often fail. True entrepreneurs fail. They think they establish a need, and then they just find out later on there was no need. It's not sustainable, and and everybody fails. You fail, you start again, and you learn through it. This is the process of entrepreneurship. I've been through this. It is, you've got to do this, and and then you start doing it, and then you learn through all the difficulties, because and most of all, at many occasions, entrepreneurs start doing businesses, starting ventures with their backs against the wall, certain doors closed, and you've got to do something, and you try something, and often. I remember, that's just a personal event, that when I started, when I started Niasa, I was really I was really down and out, because I gave everything I had, a little bit I had, to start this thing, and then at some point, that little amount that you had ran dry. I know one day my wife stood in a queue at the shop with 20 rand, and you say, 20 rand. Well, that was a couple of years ago. I mean, you could at least buy 2 breads and a milk with that. But there was 20 rand. My oldest daughter was standing with her, nervous, that mother. And why 20 rand? Well, there was no other money. But we persevered. We come through. And the riches, the wealth of knowledge that you build through this, and the amount of wisdom you can now share with young entrepreneurs, telling them this is how it works. It's not the end of the world when it's difficult. That is entrepreneurship, and then you start building on it. But you never forget that. And you don't spend all your money in illustrated wealth, cars and houses and bling and all this empty stuff. That's entrepreneurship. And you see entrepreneurs, even when they make it, they just don't illustrate it, because they understand that there are market powers that can really hurt you. You live in it. You're a bit, you're humble. Parasites, they come in at the top, and I think that's what happens with these guys that haven't learned it. They do not know where money comes from. They're suspicious about money. When they look at you, they think it came easy, and that's why they want to access that easy money. They want to ride on the success that somebody else has built over 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They want to ride on that. And that's a parasite. And the parasites might make no benefit, bring no benefit, make no contribution. That's a parasite. So, and I've had conversations in my office that people come and offer help. And then you find out, no, the plan is something different. There's another plan to it. You want a free ride? No, I'm not going to give you a free ride. So that's the difference between entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is ownership. You take ownership. This is me. And you know that if this fails, there's no back door. This is it. And you looked after it. And so you can almost see the difference. You can observe the difference between somebody that's an owner who understands what it takes to make it, and somebody that is just having a free ride. And well, the fact is, if people don't understand this, if you haven't gone through the motions, you never understand it. If the only thing is the car and the house, and the bling, the show, that's because you don't understand it, and it will bite you at some point. And the example that we set, and unfortunately, I've just spoken about the township economy. That's something beautiful. One hope and pray that those young people doesn't get restless or ongeduldig, where they say, "But I want to get rich, and I want to do it quickly," and then they become tenderpreneurs, and then they lose that. One only hope that they love this thing, that quality of life, to get up and be driven by the fact that I've got to give it all today. And real entrepreneurs make it on the basis of the service, the filling of a need in a society. The other guy just come in for a free ride, and that there's no other word than a parasite for that.
There's an interesting other side to this, and if you think about it, and you've been talking a lot philosophically, and you wrote philosophically in your open letter as well, but the person who goes through the fire, the person who has to do the hard yards, the person who struggles, gets the experience, is going to come out at the other end much stronger. And probably there's an argument to say, well, BEE is very good for entrepreneurs, white entrepreneurs. They'll get even better because they'll know better in the future. It's another obstacle that they've had to overcome and go forward. I know this is all philosophy, and you certainly wouldn't think that that your members, who are mainly entrepreneurs, need yet another obstacle in their way. But it is an interesting way of looking at it. Just the thought to close off with: how do you advise your members then, who have to do business with big corporates and government, because that's the service that they're providing, and as a consequence, they have to get some kind of BEE credentials? What do you say to them? How do they deal with that?
Well, fortunately, Alec, we do twice a year we do a BEE roadshow through South Africa. Now, now, when I do that BEE roadshow, when I send out the notices, I make it very clear I detest this thing. But what we do, we have a solution to this thing, because we offer a BE qualify you to have a certain amount of BE ownership through private equity. Now that's costly, but at least you don't give away ownership. And because that's the thing, and people, I mean, the cost involved in that, because you invest, you must invest. But those companies that can do it say, no, we're glad to do this, because the model provide for if you want 51% BE ownership, you must invest an equivalent amount, and you do it over 8 years. So we bring a solution, because I understand that there are companies that have to do it. It's the bread and butter. I mean, they do certain things that if you don't do it, it's the end of your business. You'll have to go and do something else. So there is a solution, and it's costly. And I mean, I mean, when you sit there and you explain it to people, you can see, they see, you know what, this is such an abnormal environment that I must do this, and I do not have the cash flow to do it. But I understand, because you either do that, or you bring in somebody, give somebody a free ride in your business, and that, in many cases, will result in the end of your business. So, you know, you cannot be in a business unequally yoked. And, you know, to bring in a partner in business, and I'm talking about partners working together on a 50-50 basis, that's tricky. You know, I'm the son of a farmer. And, you know, if I've gone to my father when I was a young boy or young man, and I said, Father, I want 50% of your business, it would not have gone too well, because farmers don't give their land to their sons unless their sons prove over a long time that they're worth it. Now, often they inherit something, and those that has been trained in what it means to be a farmer, they make it, the others lose it. So you cannot be unequally yoked. You bring somebody into your business with a 20% shareholding, and they don't know what it takes to make it. Well, that will put such a drag, and, you know, inherently, you will ruin the day that you think, why did I do this? Because this is just such a negative force in my business. And that's where court cases arise. We say, I want you out of your business. and then the big battles start. So we said rather invest in something that's sustainable, that is provision for that is made in the BE codes, and it's happening in codes that's currently being drafted. So we won't keep ourselves busy with scams. But because there are many BE scams out there that eventually bite the business owners in any event. So I understand business often have to do this, and so at least there is a solution. But giving away ownership is just the wrong way to go about doing it.
It appears from what you've said that this is a tax on society, on the economy, that has had dreadful unintended consequences. Now, and to the degree that no one's really benefiting, excepting for the few that, well, we've heard from academics that there is a favored few who are ridiculously wealthy as a consequence of the BEE approach. But what would you hope? What would you hope that Gwede Mantashe would take from reading your open letter, presuming that he actually does decide to do so?
I people write to me. They send me WhatsApp and they say, "But Gwenny's not going to read it." My response is, "I didn't write it to him." Yeah, I know it's. I mean, he's so caught up into this thing. I talk for a constituency that's frustrated by things, and I'm just a voice to say, guys, I'm also frustrated, and I think there's an amount of, okay, somebody's at least speaking on our behalf, but Gwede is not going to take anything from this, and if you swim in the riches created by the system, you're not going to take anything from it. You're blind. Let's believe it. But there will be a day. I mean, what I want to happen is that the groundswell, the opposition against this thing, that people understand what is doing it, that the system is unpopular, but it must become more unpopular 100 times more. Because it needs to be pushed out. The country cannot afford this. It is bankrupting the country. I've mentioned amounts, and I don't know what it is. What it is actually cost South Africa? How many building projects? What it has cost us in terms of power generation in South Africa, where contracts has been established, given out for the building of power stations. These things has cost us 3, 4, 5 times more than it was supposed to cost us. And the cost is not only the money that went into those contracts, but the lack of electricity provision over the last years has almost broken the economy. So, and there you can go to each and every element. This thing is just wrong. So, but they don't see it, and I don't expect it. I don't expect a call from one entrepreneur that says, "Gerhard, you know what? I'm converted now. It's wrong." No, this is not going to happen. The push against this, the groundswell against this must just increase.
Well, if you're a beneficiary of something, you will be looking for reasons why you should remain a beneficiary. But maybe just help us here. If there were the abolition of BEE, let's just say in the next election, there's a different bunch of political players who come in, you get almost a groundswell of opinion that says this is one of the things we don't want, and it is abolished. How would that impact the business sector? How would that impact entrepreneurs in the way that they view the future?
If BE is done away with, and each and every contract is awarded on the basis of quality and price, and everybody has equal access to the economy. And I've said it and I say it again. The turnaround in the economy won't take years. it will take weeks. It will take weeks. On my way to my office, there's a particular road between my house and my office. Every time there's rain, the potholes get bigger. Then they are fixed, and they last until the next rain. Now, the cost for the fixing of that pothole is enormous. It's done over and over and over. I went to my parents' farm in the Free State, and I stopped on the way next to people. On the way, people were fixing the road in the Free State. And I looked at it and I said, guys, when I come back on Sunday afternoon, this will not be here anymore. What you're doing here will not last until Sunday. That was Friday afternoon. When I got back on that particular point, on that Sunday afternoon, that fixing of the road, the repair of the road, no longer existed. Now, people are continuously making money out of this, but it's somebody else is paying for it, and it's our tax money. So, award price. Now, what will happen? Will that exclude people from the economy, people that need to be uplifted? No, it's not supposed to. But jack up the way you render your service, and you will get a contract. If you can do it at a better price, but similar quality, if even better, you get the price. But what we're doing now is we tolerate the poor service delivery because the system is kept alive and naturally. But we learn them nothing. And that will bite them eventually. It will bite them. It will bring those empires down. It will take some time, but those that participate in the scheme will lose it. That's a universal law.
Gerhard
But the
Papenfus.
economy can be fixed in days.
Gerhard Papenfus is the Chief Executive of NIASA. I'm Alec Hogg from biznews.com.